Today, an AI label stopped being just a courtesy in Europe. Under Article 50 of the EU AI Act, some synthetic content now needs a machine-readable mark. Some deepfakes need an obvious disclosure, and penalties for companies can reach 15 million euros, or 3% of worldwide annual turnover. But here's the part most frightening headlines will leave out. Using AI does not automatically make your video illegal. Welcome to Martin Makes Sense of AI, where I sort through the noise and bring you one important AI story every day. By the end of this video, you will know which AI content needs a label, which ordinary edits may not, how YouTube's own AI detection fits in, and the 3 questions every creator should ask before publishing. On August 2nd, the transparency obligations in Article 50 began to apply. The purpose is simple. People should know when they are talking to an AI, or when something that appears authentic was generated or substantially manipulated by one. That sounds straightforward, until you try to apply it to a real production. Was the script drafted by AI? Was it fact-checked by a person? Was the voice synthetic? Was a real politician made to say something that never happened? Did AI merely remove background noise? Is an animated robot supposed to look real in the first place? Those are not the same uses, and the law does not treat them as one giant category called AI content. The cleanest way to understand the rule is to separate the company that makes the AI system from the person or business that publishes its output. The European Commission uses 2 important words, provider and deployer. A provider develops an AI system, or has one developed, and places it on the European market under its own name. That can include a company outside Europe when the system's output is used in the EU. A deployer is a person or organization using an AI system professionally under its authority. Personal, non-professional use is generally outside this definition. But if someone regularly earns money from the activity, or uses AI as part of a business, trade, freelance job, or occupation, the Commission says that can become professional use. Think of it this way. The provider may be responsible for putting an invisible digital ingredient label into the output. The professional publisher may still be responsible for putting a visible warning where a human can actually see it. That distinction matters because many videos online are shouting that every creator must somehow invent a watermarking system. That is not what the official guidance says. Article 50 focuses on 4 broad situations. First, AI systems that directly interact with people, such as chatbots, agents, and avatars, should tell users they are interacting with AI, unless that fact is already obvious. Second, providers of generative systems must design their tools so synthetic audio, images, video, and text can carry effective machine-readable marks. This is the technical layer meant to help platforms and detection systems identify origin. Third, professional users of emotion recognition or biometric categorization systems must inform the people exposed to them. If software is quietly analyzing whether an employee looks angry, tired, or nervous, the employee is not supposed to discover that by accident. Fourth, deployers must clearly disclose deepfakes and certain AI-generated or manipulated text published to inform the public about matters of public interest when it has not received substantive human review or editorial control. The last category is broader than politics. The Commission's examples include public health, safety, finance, science, culture, and economic developments that may be part of public debate. So, an AI-generated meme about a fictional space hamster is not the same thing as an AI-generated central bank announcement that looks real. The word deepfake is often used to mean any image that looks slightly strange. The legal definition is narrower. The content must be generated or manipulated by AI, resemble an existing person, object, place, organization, or event, and falsely appear authentic or truthful to a viewer. Context matters. A clearly fantastical animation does not make the same promise of reality as fake footage of a real chief executive announcing a bankruptcy. Background effects in an obviously fictional film are also treated differently from a fabricated news clip. And the visible disclosure cannot be hidden inside metadata that ordinary people never see. For a deepfake, the Commission says people should receive a clear, understandable, and perceivable disclosure by their first exposure. Artistic, satirical, and fictional works have some flexibility in how they disclose, so the label does not have to ruin the experience. The point is not to place a flashing legal banner over every cartoon. The point is to stop synthetic evidence from borrowing the credibility of a real camera. Here is the part that matters to anyone using AI to help write news, education, or commentary. The Commission says AI-generated or manipulated text on matters of public interest does not need this particular label when it has undergone genuine human review or editorial control, and a person accepts editorial responsibility. But changing commas is not editorial control. Spell checking is not enough. A knowledgeable person must examine the substance, check the facts, and have the authority to change, reject, or approve what is published. That creates a useful standard, even outside Europe. Do not ask whether a human touched the file. Ask whether a human understood the claims well enough to take responsibility for them. That is also how this channel approaches AI news. AI can help organize research and production, but every important date, number, and conclusion has to survive a source check and an editorial decision. If you want one important AI story every day with the evidence and the practical consequence kept in the same picture, subscribe to Martin Makes Sense of AI. Now let us deal with the platform where many creators will notice these rules first. YouTube's system is not identical to the EU law, but it is moving in the same direction. Since May, YouTube has made labels for photorealistic and meaningfully AI-altered or generated content more visible. On long videos, the label appears below the player and above the description. On shorts, it can appear directly over the video. Creators are still expected to disclose realistic AI use themselves. But YouTube says it is also rolling out internal signals that can automatically apply a label when a creator leaves the question unanswered, and the system detects significant photorealistic AI use. Some labels can remain permanent, including content made with YouTube's own generative tools or content carrying verified C2PA metadata that identifies it as fully AI-generated. Now the sentence every worried creator should hear. YouTube says the disclosure label by itself does not change how a video is recommended and does not determine whether it can earn money. That does not mean low-effort, repetitive, or misleading AI content is safe. Those are separate quality and policy questions. It means the checkbox itself is not a hidden "please suppress my video" button. So what should an ordinary creator do without turning every upload into a law degree? Ask 3 questions. First, could a reasonable viewer mistake the synthetic element for real evidence? If the answer is yes, disclose early and clearly. A realistic cloned voice, fabricated interview, altered public event, or fake product demonstration carries a much higher deception risk than an obvious illustration. Second, does the content inform the public about something important? And did a knowledgeable person review the substance? If the subject is health, finance, politics, science, safety, or another public interest issue, keep a record of the sources, the corrections, and the person who approved the final claims. A prompt history is not a fact check. Third, who is willing to be accountable when the output is wrong? Write down which tool generated what, which parts were altered, what metadata or disclosure the platform received, and who approved publication. If nobody can answer those questions, the problem is larger than a missing label. For professional activity aimed at or operating in the European market, use the Commission guidance and obtain proper legal advice for the specific case. A YouTube explainer can give you the map. It cannot examine every business model and jurisdiction. My view is that creators should stop treating an AI label as an admission of guilt. The real danger is not that viewers learn AI was involved. The danger is that every use of AI is flattened into the same category, from cleaning a noisy recording to fabricating a person confessing to a crime. Good creators can turn transparency into a competitive advantage, show the source, explain the alteration, make the human judgment visible, give viewers a reason to trust the process even when some of the tools are synthetic. There is also a warning for AI companies. Google signed the EU Transparency Code, but publicly worried that overlapping labels could confuse the very people they are meant to help. That concern is reasonable. A warning label that appears everywhere eventually tells us nothing. The winning system will not simply stamp "made with AI" on the entire internet. It will help people answer the question they actually care about. What part of this should I believe? The new rules do not ban AI creativity. They push professional AI media toward a world where origin, review, and responsibility can be traced. Older content does not have to be labeled retroactively under Article 50, and certain systems already on the market have a limited marking grace period until December 2nd. But the direction is now clear. Invisible AI is becoming harder to defend when it can mislead a real person. That is what Martin Makes Sense of AI is here to do. Bring you one important AI story every day, separate the evidence from the panic, and explain what it actually means for you. You can also find the Martin Makes Sense of AI podcast here on YouTube. Subscribe for the next story, and tell me in the comments. When you see an AI label on a video, Does it make you trust the creator more or less?